Welcome back to the Stuff of Legend show. My name is D'Lo, and I have another video for you. I also have some nasal congestion because I've got freaking allergies over here. But I wanted to show you guys what we've got today. This is an article I saw yesterday, but I didn't have a time to jump on and make a video about it. This is the Show Don't Tell, Katie Sackhoff destroying the narrative that fans are sexist and actually sticking it to the argument we've all been making for so long. It's all about showing us strong women. Don't tell us you're a strong woman. And that's exactly what she talks about here. Let me cut back to my screen and say good morning. I don't often do morning live streams, but I was up this morning. So I was like, hey, you know what? Got some free time, might as well go over a quick article for you. So today I'm not going to be able to linger around too long, but if you want, drop those live comments in there if you get them in. I know this is a very unusual time, so I might not even get anybody in the chat. Most people know I go live at night. This is the opposite for me. So if I get you in the chat, sweet, I'll find it at the end. If not, whatever, it's all good. I can catch back up with you guys on the next video, but let's go ahead and check out the article. Let me read the title for you up here. From Bounding into Comics, we have Katie Sackhoff attempts to explain why all-female scene in The Mandalorian works. Now, if you guys haven't already, you can check me out on YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, Twitch. You can follow, subscribe, like, share the videos, and most importantly, leave comments down below. Those things help me get seen, get found, and grow as a channel, and I greatly appreciate that. So thank you guys for that. And now let's get into the article. Go ahead and swap over to this one. All right. So I'm going to read this off from the top. The Mandalorian actress Katie Sackhoff recently attempted to explain why the all-female scene in the final episode of The Mandalorian works. In a lengthy interview with Looper, where she discusses her YouTube channel as well as Battlestar Galactica, Sackhoff is asked, when you were cast on Battlestar, there was a pretty vocal group of fans that were pretty pissed about Starbuck being a woman. That seemed to change once this show came out. But looking at the season finale of The Mandalorian, and it's you, Mercedes, Gina, and Ming-Na Wen driving almost all of the action, and people almost didn't notice. As a sci-fi action star, have you seen the attitude towards women in that space change? And then you come down here, and the article writer gives his thoughts before we jump into her response. So this right here is not what she had to say. This right here is what the article guy says, and then we're going to go to the next part. So article says, first off, the question being asked is laughable. Din Djarin actually had two huge fight scenes in the final episode of season 2. The first against the Dark Trooper and the second against Moff Gideon, not to mention the final combat sequence is Luke Skywalker going ham on the Dark Troopers. But the all-female fire squad was driving almost all of the action, ... He's saying that ironically because that's what's being asserted here. But there was a savage all-female fight scene, and that cannot be denied. And this person isn't even denying that, but it is just funny how the interviewer poses the question from Looper. So they, nevertheless, Katie Sackhoff responded and said, absolutely. Yeah. Well, first and foremost, one of the reasons why Starbuck on Battlestar Galactica worked was that we never mentioned the fact that she was a woman. She was just a well-rounded, interesting, creative character in a world that was fun to watch. She just happened to be a woman. This right here is the entire point of why people enjoyed, for instance, Jyn Erso, who had endless vulnerabilities and flaws, but didn't like Rey, who has no flaws and no challenges, and everything she tries, she just instantly does. This is why Jyn Erso succeeded and Rey failed. This is the reason why everyone loves Gina Carano and her character Cara Dune, but nobody liked, for instance, what's her name? Captain Phasma, right? Just not interesting. There's interesting characters and there's not interesting characters. It's all about the writing. It's all about, are they, like Katie Sackhoff said, are they well-rounded, interesting, creative characters in a world that's fun to watch? And frankly, the sequel trilogy is not that fun to watch. It's actually quite boring. And it's not just boring. it's a bummer because they're just trying to throw these little preachy ideas in your face about identity politics, and Rey's just not interesting. So to me, this is it, and Katie Sackhoff wasn't saying anything negative about anybody else. She was just saying that what we've all been saying this whole time. Apologize, guys. About Katie Sackhoff's Bo-Katan. She's an interesting, well-rounded, creative character that is fun in a world that's fun to watch. She just happens to be a woman. They don't have to tell you, oh, you need to like her because if you don't, you're sexist. I mean, do you guys remember what freaking Kathleen Kennedy said back in 2016 when Rogue One was coming out? There was some people who were like, I guess there was some people online, probably, I don't even know how much this is true. Like, there's probably a lot of people anticipating the wokeness of Disney's Star Wars, probably anticipating that, was like, oh great, here we go. Here's the token character of this, token that, female this, female that, gender swap this. People were probably anticipating a lot. There was plenty of people who were out there that were like, oh, you know, it's a woman, this sucks, before it even came out. But the vast majority of people weren't doing that. And here's one thing that this article here, this is an older article. This is from 2016, guys. And this is where that quote comes from that people cite from Kennedy all the time, Kathleen Kennedy. She was asked, she told the New York Times she felt no pressure to consider the skeptics of the film, skeptics. And it says, she says, I have a responsibility to the company that I work with. I don't feel that I have a responsibility to cater in some way, referring to the fans of Star Wars, the leading up to the sequel trilogy and Rogue One. She says, I would never just seize on saying, well, this is a franchise that appealed primarily to men for many, many years, and therefore I owe men something. So she's here assuming a lot. She's saying like, oh, I need to make films that are specifically either sexist or just leaning in towards men. Men don't demand that. For instance, we love Ahsoka Tano. The vast majority of the fan base nowadays loves Ahsoka Tano, loves, what's her name? I'm sorry, we love Cara Dune. We love, even for instance, doing live action depictions of the animated stuff like Ahsoka Tano has been well received. Nobody's complaining over here. The only complaint that I saw online about Rosario Dawson becoming the older version of Ahsoka Tano was that, you know, I always forget, are they called Leku? The Leku, the parts of her head that come down. A lot of people expected those to be longer. Perhaps they don't need to be. Perhaps they do. I don't know. I think they're supposed to be a little bit longer. I think they were probably made shorter for stunt purposes so that they could actually like wield the lightsabers and stuff. Probably very difficult to do it with longer Leku. Anyway, but anyway, this is like the kind of thing that it shows what we've all been saying. Stop telling us like, oh, hey, you need to like Ghostbusters 2016 because it's an all-female crew and they're savages and they're hilarious. You're gonna love them. It's like you go see it and then you're like, I don't love them. They're really annoying. This is really disturbing to watch because they believe they're funny, but they're totally not funny. Not a laugh was heard in the theater. And then these types of things come out, but then they blame you. They blame the fan. They go, oh, well, people are just sexist. The problem is not our film. The problem is not our humor or our writing. The problem is the fans. The fans weren't ready for that, or the fans don't like women, or they can't handle women in comedy. And it's like, no, it's like we've laughed at Sarah Silverman before. Where's the laughs for you, right? It's like, you need to provide the laughs. We're here because you're providing something that's supposed to make us laugh. And that's, or like, for instance, with characters that are supposed to be like connectable, inspirational, those characters, even Cara Dune is so much more sympathetic than Rey's situation, Rey's plight. There was an interesting setup that could have gone in a good direction from The Force Awakens, but it was still, there wasn't a lot there in that film. If it was just that film and there was no Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker, it wouldn't have been egregious, but it would have still been boring. That's the thing. And There's not, like it was J.J. Abrams, like mystery box. Everything about Rey was just what's going to happen, or who is she related to, or why was this, or what was this, or when is this. And there was no answers to her, but there wasn't any urgency either. It's like she sort of cared, but she was just doing her own thing, and there was no real need for her to do anything. Everything just happened to her by chance. Like BB-8 just happened to come across her by chance, and then she gets to she's trying to get off the planet because people are chasing her down, chasing down BB-8, and the Millennium Falcon's just there, unguarded, with the keys left in the ignition. It's like it's ready to go. It's like, geez, and you've never, she's never flown before, but all of a sudden she's like an ace pilot. It's like this is so backwards and upside down. It's like it doesn't make any sense. It just wasn't good and it wasn't interesting. So that's the thing here is like, this is a narrative that Disney Lucasfilm normally probably wouldn't allow one of their people to say out loud if they had the control. And I bet you at some point they will crack down on employees doing interviews and making any mention of this. But this is exactly right. Katie Sackhoff is exactly right. Not this article. This is the old article. But this article here. Absolutely, yeah. First and foremost, the reason why Starbuck worked was that we never mentioned the fact she was a woman. She was just a well-rounded, interesting, creative character in a world that's fun to watch. She just happened to be a woman. Yeah, that's exactly why people love, for instance, Hermione from Harry Potter. People love Éowyn and Arwen from Lord of the Rings. There's a lot of characters out there that they don't have to be the main character. In fact, Bo-Katan's not the main character of Mandalorian, but people love her, and also it's also the reason why people are enjoying and liking and looking forward to seeing more of Fennec Shand, played by Ming-Na Wen, versus Rose Tico. I keep forgetting the actress's name. What's the name of the actress? I don't want to miss it. Kelly Marie Tran. I forgot about that. Okay, so Kelly Marie Tran. It's why her character sucked. It's because of writing, and it's because of Star Wars. The problem is not the fans. It is with the presentation. What are you giving the fans as entertainment? Is what you're saying is entertainment? Is it entertaining? Is it any good, right? Is this exciting adventure, exciting and adventurous, or is it just being marketed as exciting and adventurous, right? And that's frankly what was happening. Katie Sackhoff in The Mandalorian kicked some serious butt, and so did Mercedes, from what's it? I usually know her by her WWE name. I'm not the biggest WWE fan, but I do enjoy watching sometimes. Shoot, what was her name? Sasha Banks. That's it. Sasha Banks as Koska Reeves. She was awesome too. Like, you have two Mandalorian savages, you got a rebel drop trooper and an assassin, and they're all working together because of this common goal of helping Din Djarin in this quest, but also helping Bo-Katan in her mission. And that's something that a lot of fans are really excited to see the continuation of. Now, what's interesting to me is that Axe Woves wasn't even part of this mission, because he was in the episode. I think it was episode 3 or episode 4. No, it was 3. Episode 3 of The Mandalorian season 2. He was the male Mandalorian that was there with the other with Bo-Katan and Koska Reeves on Trask, on the planet Trask. He was just absent, and he could have been off on a mission. He could have been doing something, gathering resources. He could have even been bounty hunting or just carrying on while Bo-Katan was helping on this side mission. We don't know. But I'd like to see more of that guy too. But they did an all-female scene, and it worked because it wasn't preaching at you. It wasn't like they're doing it because they're women. It's like, no, it's just they have a goal. They have a mission we've already established, and it fits and it works and it all makes sense. And it's fun to watch. We want them to succeed because we've seen what they've been through. We've seen their struggles. We've seen how Bo-Katan would have failed if Din Djarin wasn't there to help in the trying to track down Moff Gideon. And Moff Gideon was only able to be found because of Din Djarin. Because he was tracking Grogu. He found Grogu. And now he's like, okay, we need to find that location. Let's go. We all need to work together to get this thing done. They got Bill Burr's character, and they got Mayfeld. They were able to go get the information, but there was just so many times where failure and compromise had to happen with these characters to make them interesting. The struggle, the failure, that stuff we relate with, and that's something that like Rey doesn't have. For instance, Jyn Erso did have those things, and that's why Jyn's a better character than Rey by a landslide. There's no comparison. And so yeah, but anyway, let's continue on with the article and then we'll wrap it up. So it says Sackhoff would then transition to the Mandalorian. The reason why that scene at the end of the Mandalorian worked was that they didn't talk about the fact that they were women. Thank you. It's show strong women, don't tell us strong women. That's the whole point. They were just the best people for the job, and they were. And they were there. They did it, and they succeeded. We didn't stop to be like, female power, woohoo. You take the lead because you're the prettiest. You know what I mean? This was just the crew that was available, she added. So this is Katie Sackhoff's words, not mine. And Katie is preaching the truth here. However, the only reason why the all-female scene is even in the show is because the writers decided to write out the third Mandalorian, Axe Woves, played by Simon Cassianidis. Yeah, there he is. That previously appeared alongside Sackhoff's Bo-Katan in Chapter 11, The Heiress. However, he's nowhere to be found in the final episode of Season 2. This one is not, I don't think this one's the words of Katie Sackhoff. I'm pretty sure this is just the article writer's words here. And he says, not only did they write off Cassianidis' character without an explanation, but they also sent Din Djarin on a desperate mission within Gideon's ship. In fact, Bo-Katan initially says they should split into two parties, but Djarin says he's going alone. There is no other discussion. This means the entire plan hinges on Djarin getting to the Dark Troopers' holding bay before they are activated. And it just continues on. He just makes comments about what Sackhoff says here. I'll cut down to what Sackhoff says. She says, nevertheless, Sackhoff would continue to answer the question, turning to how the industry has changed. She said, and I think that's what's changed. Not only the genre, but in our industry, is that we don't feel like we have to qualify a female's existence anymore by saying, well, she's a woman, she's a strong female character. We don't have to do that anymore. She continued, I'm sorry. I keep I can't find my glasses and it's really hard to read from this distance, but it's okay. I'm trying to work. He says, now it's just like, isn't that awesome to watch? Holy crap, that was amazing. That's not to take away from and negate the fact that they're obviously women. I think that's what's changed the most in the industry. We have so many amazing women to watch. So she's saying we have a lot of strong female characters that we can enjoy nowadays. It's not like we're starving for strong females. We're struggling for that strong writing that just shows you a strong woman. It doesn't tell you, woohoo, we're strong women. Let's, we're doing this because of female empowerment and you need to get on board or you're a sexist. It's like, it's just show, don't tell. Don't tell. That's like filmmaking 101. It's show, don't tell. Right? And so anyway, she says, Sackhoff would then point to the Nomadland to illustrate her point. I thought it said no man's land at first. Look at Nomadland. Look at Frances Dormand. I mean, that performance, that is a strong woman. They never talk about the fact that it's unsafe for her to be living this life because she's a woman. They don't talk about it. They show the difficulties for everyone living this life, men and women. That was so beautiful to me because it's like, I think it allows us as viewers to really get lost in something and not go, oh, there's the explanation there, she concluded. And that was just her comments. And I think that this is brilliant. Frankly, and yes, is this confirming what we've been saying? Is it technically confirmation bias? Yes, but it's also true. And this is what is amazing to me, is that we're getting a couple of people that are honest and decent about the experience of storytelling because they're also fans of the content. She's a big fan of Bo-Katan, the character that she plays on Star Wars: The Clone Wars. She's not just the voice actress. Now, she's been in the past, we've seen interviews with her where she shows that she knows so much, and then there's limitations to her knowledge. Duh, because we're not all Dave Filoni, right? Even like people like myself, people like a lot of, like the Quartering, who cover news. I love the Quartering, frankly. Charlie from Emergency Awesome, another fantastic channel. He is a knowledge guru, but there's a lot of people out there that don't know a lot, or certainly don't know the entire lore. Who does, right? That's a vast library of knowledge to try to compile and then have to recall. But she is a fan. She enjoys watching these stories, and she enjoys good storytelling. And that's why she tends to play really good roles, is because she can read a script. She can go, hey, this sounds really good to me, and she can avoid the ones that suck. But this whole scene with the all-female fighting force in The Mandalorian was just amazing. So anyways, it was well done, and I appreciate that. Can you guys see that my allergies are just on fire today? I'm fighting off sneezes and stuff, which is like the worst feeling in the world. That is not pain related. All right, so I think we have some chat going on here. Let me see. What is going on? No, let me see. I've got 2 messages here in the chat. They're just not showing up in the little feed, so that's okay. All right, let's check it out. Hunter Iggy says, "What's up? What's up, man? It's good to see you again here in the chat." He says, "What is your thoughts on Disney saying they want more woke and diversity in their movies and shows?" Frankly, I believe that if you try to go further and further down the woke trail, you are further polarizing your audience. And frankly, it's the vast majority that are upset and frustrated with the woke crowd. They're not the woke that are the majority. The woke people are just the college campus activists, people that like that type of person that are just, and a lot of high schoolers too, because they're young and impressionable, and the teachers are all socialists. So they're all Marxists. They're all pushing critical race theory. They're propagandizing the youth, and they're trying to do that through Hollywood as well, which is why we see so much of it. What we watch is woke. It's because they're propagandizing. With Disney saying they want to go more woke and more diversity, first of all, it's not surprising to me. We've seen this happening, progressing further and further, escalating further and further. I bet you this does end up getting Katie Sackhoff in some trouble. If she had a future project she was supposed to be a part of, like Mando season 3, or if there's a 4, I don't know, she may find some consequences there. And I hope that that's not the case. She's a fantastic actress, and I would love to see her back as Bo-Katan in live action, because she was great in The Mandalorian. But yeah, the old adage, get woke, go broke. It's happened. It's happening, and it will happen. And I hope that Disney learns their lesson quickly, and I hope that they get out of the propaganda business and start to get back towards just good storytelling, because they used to be good at it. There was a lot of problems with the stories that they were telling as well. There was a lot hidden messages and things that were causes of concern. But I do think that they know what they're doing as far as storytelling. They are choosing to prioritize this propaganda over storytelling, and I think that's why they suck. That's why they're sucking so bad, and that's why people are in droves leaving the Disney Plus camp. So hashtag, you can see behind me, cancel Disney Plus, fire Kathleen Kennedy. I stand with Gina Carano, and I agree with Katie Sackhoff, frankly. And so I think that this is good. It works, and I hope that people are opening their eyes to what is really going on, because what they're telling us, what they're using the media to tell us, is that fans are sexist if you don't like the all-female crap. But when men who don't like Ghostbusters 2016 or don't like the sequel trilogy then all of a sudden love the all-female scene with Katie Sackhoff, Ming-Na Wen, Mercedes, and Gina Carano, it debunks the narrative, because it's like, no, this is just done well. Right? It's like the other crap isn't done well. This is done well. This is done tastefully and well. And I hope that this shows the truth, that people are being lied to about the nature of the fans, and they're being propagandized to believe that Star Wars is correct no matter what, so buy our stuff. And if you disagree with that, you're sexist, racist, homophobic, xenophobic, blah, 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 all these names, because they want to make you seem less than human so no one listens to you and no one cares about you. And so, frankly, that's the majority of people, and that's why they're losing money. If they turn that around, they'll make a lot of money. There's a lot of money in pleasing the fans, because they're not just fans, they're customers. So, yeah, please the customers. All right, that's all I have to say about this. And, oh, there's one more. You just dropped another comment in here, Hunter Iggy. Do you think that Netflix will go woke and diversity in the live-action Gundam movie? I don't know. I really hope they don't. I hope, especially with something that's like Gundam, something that's like Transformers, or something that is about sci-fi. You would expect this for Star Wars too, but obviously they don't care. With Netflix, you're going to find a much more broad range of filmmakers. There's the people that are sick and twisted that make cuties. There's the people that make straight propaganda on Netflix, but there's also people that make Christian movies on Netflix. Real Christian movies, not the crap that's like heretical. And like, you get a broad range of free speech on Twitter. Unfortunately, that means that you're going to get a lot of dark and twisted, like, cuties stuff, but you also can get other things, and you can get good content like Cobra Kai. And so that's why, you know, I don't know. It's hard to say, because Netflix has things that they put their meddling hands onto, and they have things that they don't. And like a lot of their comedy stuff is pretty free speech. They don't tend to meddle. But anyways, I would hope that they don't. So anyways, that's all I have to say for today. If you guys do want to support my channel, please do go check this out for me. My TeePublic is linked down below. This is my merch store. You guys can go get tees, hoodies, kids clothes, masks, stickers, phone cases, laptop cases, all kinds of fun stuff, including posters and things like that. So if you want, go check it out. I've got I Stand With Gina Carano merch. This one looks really good in black, but I did it in silver because it's R2D2 colors. And this one here, Fire Kathleen Kennedy, This Is the Way. I really like this one. I've sold a few of these ones already. People seem to really like that one. And this original art that I did, the nice lady with her laser swords. You guys can go check that out. I have to use different words other than the words that you would expect, because they've been taking down designs, even though most of the promoted art is also just like this and totally fair use. So for some reason they don't like me, and I don't care why, but that's just what's happening. So anyways, if you guys like my merch, go check it out, get yourself something nice, and that money comes back and helps me and my family in this channel. So that way you guys can get better content, and it keeps the lights on. And I do mean the lights, because the studio lights do rack up the PG&E. So thank you guys so much. And if you guys have a topic, don't forget to leave it in the comments, and I will try to get to that as soon as possible. You guys are the best, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day or night, wherever you are, and stay tuned for more right here on The Stuff of Legend.